Quick question, is it actually better to move back to India and live in the comfort of home and family, or is it worth living abroad and struggle? When I thought about how many people advocate in favor of moving back to India, it got me thinking why. So this time on my month-long trip back to India, I assessed what my life would be like if I moved back, and long story short, I did not like it. One thing I know for sure is that I won't ever move back to India, and today I'm going to tell you all the good and bad changes I noticed on this trip back home and why moving back to India is not on the cards for me in the coming future. Let's start with the good changes. Every time I go back to visit my family, I notice the country progressing. The infrastructure, connectivity, facilities, and so much more has advanced over the past years, and it will be advancing over the next coming years because at the speed of which things are happening, it's insane. The number of buildings, whether commercial or residential, always keep increasing, and I see these world-class, high-quality shopping complexes, buildings, residential properties cropping up that I sometimes feel very shocked that is this really India? The finance sector has also advanced so much that you don't really need to carry cash. When I went back, I noticed that from the smallest of vegetable seller to the biggest of showroom has this QR code of UPI payments where you can scan the code on your mobile and just transfer money digitally. So everything is digital. I did not need to carry cash anywhere. They accept cards at most places, or if not, you can just UPI. I was genuinely shocked to see this a few years ago when it recently started. When I was leaving, Paytm was a thing, but now UPI payments have captured the market. This time when I got off my flight, my family picked me up and we straight up went to a fuel station. Here in Canada, we have to fuel up and pay for it ourselves. Like, you have to get out of the car and do everything by yourself. But in India, you don't really need to even get out of the car. People are hired to refill your car, refill the air in your tires, and even clean the windows while you are waiting. And the biggest advantage of being in India is that healthcare is cheap, very cheap, and easily accessible. I mean, you can get the best of healthcare available right at your hands at the very moment you need it. You don't really need to wait for hours in emergency room just to be attended by someone. So one thing I always get done when I come to India is get all my medical tests done. So there are all kinds of treatments available here. What I do is I come in, get my tests done, go to a general physician, and then just show my reports and see where I need to work on, or if I need any medical treatments. Thankfully nothing yet. But the reason why I come here, which is not a hospital but a smaller healthcare center, is because the service is a lot more personal, focused, and they pay more attention to you, and that is the reason why I prefer to choose this kind of place rather than going to a bigger hospital where there are multiple patients. And also when you book in a time, you get there and get the consultation on time. You don't have to wait for hours when you have booked a slot. Because I know these people personally, I trust them for these, so I am telling you all about this place. So definitely pay a visit, and if you're planning to get your tests done within your budget, with people who are experienced, who are trustable, you should definitely check it out. I have put down the link to this place in the description box, so you can check out the website, and also I put down the location link here. It's very accessible from metro, and there's a pharmacy. So this is a one-stop shop where you can get your consultation done, tests done, and then get your medicines as well right from here. And living is cheap as well. I mean, if I am earning the same amount of money that I am doing right now in Canada, but back home in India, I would live a luxurious life. I mean, I would have every facility at my fingertips, and I would not really need to do anything on my own at all. And whenever I'm back home, I do not need to lift a finger. My laundry is sent out. We have a maid who comes in for cleaning and doing the dishes. My mom does the cooking. I also get the occasional royal treatment. And basically, every time I go back, I realize that there are such luxuries that you can only get in India. You can hire house help, a cook, a driver, a gardener, a cleaner, a nanny, and so much more at such cheap prices that it makes living there so much easier. I only realized these things were luxuries when I moved out. I mean, even when I was getting my health checkup done, they told me that they can come to my home to pick up my samples. That's how convenient life is in India. Food is one of the best things India offers, and I am a foodie, so I love how cheap the food is and how much variety you can get as soon as you move out of one state to the other.
पैक करने हैं जी खाने, ये रोजी रोड है। ठीक है। और ये गोलगप्पे की दुकान है हमारी, दोनों।
मैं भीड़ देख के आई हूँ।
ये नया लगाया है हमने। वैसे तो यहाँ 15 साल पुराने हो गए हम यहाँ।
अच्छा। He was so cute. He said he's not taking money from me. I was like, no, that can't happen. Alright, so if you're here in Lodi Road, block number 7, there's a ram laddu wala, which you absolutely have to try. It's spicy, it's crispy, it's sweet and sour. Badhiya ekdam. It is also one of the world's fastest growing economy with so many opportunities popping up every now and then. And there's so much happening every single day that it's pretty much amazing to see it. When there's so much happening in India and it is so good, why do I choose to live in Canada and do not want to move back? In short, I want to say one thing: grass is always greener on the other side. This time when I went back, I noticed so many things that I just do not comply with and I don't think I would fit in. But the rich are getting richer, the poor is also getting richer, but the middle class, where I fit in, we are in the same state. And it's true over there that the middle class people are the ones who struggle the most over there, and it is so hard to get out of this middle class segment unless you have got good money backed up by a family or you have a business which is doing really well. One thing I absolutely hate about India, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate from people who don't agree with me, well, I don't care, otherwise I would not be making this video, but it is the fact that intolerance is rising. India is definitely progressing economically, but it is going backwards in time socially. I see the kind of religious divide that is happening in the country. People are kind of brainwashed to think that one religion is superior to the other, and it is so sad to see how minorities are being discriminated and racialized, and it is just like, this is something I personally don't agree with. India is progressing towards a society that is going back towards casteism, religious divide, and there's so much intolerance that I don't see myself fit in that society anymore. And with that comes the limitation on the freedom of speech and press. If I want to talk against the government, I cannot. And I don't know why, but supporting a government has become equivalent to being nationalist, which is not the case. Nationalism is all about patriotism and loving your country. Sometimes it feels like it's so scary to express your opinions about things freely, and I also feel like since freedom of speech and expression is a fundamental right, I would love to live in a country or a place where my freedom of speech is not suppressed. And as we all know, press is pretty much manipulated by the government. So whatever you see is like pro-government and there's no questions being asked. So that is something that I feel is very threatening to a democracy and to as an individual as well. There's this really weird cancel culture going on in India, where if you say something that is not accepted by the masses, you are cancelled or boycotted. So it's hard to live in a place like that. And there are safety concerns, like major safety concerns. I lived in Delhi, and whenever I went out, I had to double check what I'm wearing, where I'm going, what time of the day it is, what kind of area it is. Crimes against women are so common in India, and not just crimes against women, there's theft, robbery, murders. There's so many violent crimes happening that it is hard for me to imagine myself living in constant fear. Now, moving away from all of these concerns, let's talk about the job sector. I am aware that there are lots of opportunities over there, but I'm also aware that the competition is so high, so high. And because of the high amount of population, there's this constant rat race to be in front of others. I hate to say it, but Indian management is the worst to work under. I'm very sorry that I'm saying this, and I mean no offense, but there is so much competition that people from India do not want other Indians to progress or be better than them. There's always a constant rat race, and it is not something that one is willing to do. They're not thinking. It's something that's ingrained in us since our childhood. We have been compared with our neighbors' kids. We have been pushed by our parents to be better than the other ones. We have been constantly subjected to, humiliation if we are not doing well. It's not their fault. They also want what's best for us, but we have been subjected to so much of competition and comparison that now it's like a natural instinct to be better than the other person who's working right next to us. The pays are average. The work-life balance does not exist. People are judged and respected based on where and what work they do. And that's not something I agree with. Next up, something that I experienced myself, and it was so brutal, is whenever you are going to get any kind of admin or government related work done, it will not happen in the easiest way possible. I had to go into a state district magistrate office and district courts to get some things sorted. All these official paperworks are still manual, super slow. Even though I was able to submit my documents and fill up a form digitally, I had to go into the office to submit my original documents for verification, which does not make any sense. Why are you doing it digitally if you really want people to come in there and submit things physically? I mean, make it make sense. The math is not mathing here. Nowadays, when you want to get things done, they give you a quotation with the bribes included. So nothing will get done if you don't want to bribe someone. In my experience in the SDM office, where they started public dealing at 10 a.m. and ended at 3 p.m., but you have to go in there and line up at 8 a.m. to get into the office and get your papers verified. So it's a waste of time. It is such a nuisance and it is a mess. Okay, I did say that cost of living is low over there, but the cost of housing is increasing by each day. I don't know where all this money is coming from and who is buying these houses and apartments, but in Gurugram, an apartment sold for, I think, 20 crores, a penthouse. Houses are becoming unaffordable by each day. If I live in India and I earn Indian money and Indian wages, I don't think I can afford a house. And I think that's the case everywhere. It goes the same for India. It doesn't really change anything. But yeah, if you think you can afford a house, staying in India, working a middle class job without financial backing from your family, it's not possible. Pollution is a big factor why I don't want to go back. I went there this time and I can smell how dirty the air is, how polluted it is. You can smell like something's burning. And then I love walking. I can easily walk 10 kilometers. But this time when I went back home, I walked for 1 kilometer or something and I thought like my lungs will explode. I was struggling to walk even 1 kilometer. So that is how I understood that pollution is like a big factor. If you live in Delhi or NCR and you breathe the air for a whole day, it's like smoking 20 cigarettes a day. But that's how bad the air quality is right now. One more thing I noticed is the fact that people over there are frustrated, stressed, and do not want to deal with people. Just regular public dealings like people talking to security guards or fruit and vegetable sellers, they don't seem happy. They are so angry all the time. I had 2 arguments with 2 people in one day, and it is so frustrating to talk to people because even though I'm talking nicely, no one else responds in that way, and then you get angry that why the fuck is this person talking to me that way, and then it becomes a whole argument. And it's so common to have regular arguments, and it is extremely stressful to go out. And then my final reason why I don't think I would move out is the fact that I think this democracy is crumbling. Sometimes I feel like, is it even a democracy anymore? Freedom of speech is taken away, expression of thoughts are taken away, freedom of press is taken away, secularism is becoming a taboo word these days. Protesting is a democratic right where you can express your opinions and speech freely, and you can talk to the government and share what you want. So the farmers from northern part of India had a protest going on, and they wanted to march towards Delhi and share their opinions in front of the government. But they were stopped even entering Delhi. So there were like barricades and these spikes put up on the roads, and people were stopped from crossing the borders. And the fact that you're not even letting your citizens protest and not even listening to what they have to say is problematic. And even though there are a lot of good things happening in India, there are a lot of bad things happening too, and we have forgotten to question those bad things. I feel that unless we acknowledge the problems, we will never go and find out solutions. And also, once I moved out, I could actually see the difference in my quality of life and my lifestyle. And that makes me think that I would definitely take struggles and discomfort any day if that means I can earn enough to support myself, my dreams, my family, and my lifestyle. Considering the current political situation in India, I don't feel safe going there, expressing my opinions, or I don't even think it's gonna get better anytime soon. So unless it gets better, I think I'm happy staying somewhere else where I can at least say whatever I want freely, like right now. Yes, there might be people who disagree with me, but this opens up a conversation that I'm willing to have. It's all right to have disagreements. It's okay if you don't agree with me, but it is also okay that I have a different opinion. That does not make me totally against my country. I still love India. I am definitely going to love India for the rest of my life. It is a country that gives me my identity, but the government is what I don't support, and until that is there, I don't think I will be able to move back. And if you have similar feelings, let me know in the comment section below, and if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next week. Bye.